I don't want my first proper video to be a rant, but I feel this is kind of necessary for me to make this, particularly right now. I hate the NHS mental health system. Not all of it is bad. I've had some amazing experiences and they have really helped me, but there are some really bad things about it as well. My bad experiences started when I was 14 and I started off at CAMS. Now, I went in with a positive attitude to this. I genuinely thought it would help me. And I'm not saying it doesn't help people by any means, it does help. However, for me, I didn't have too good an experience. Now, I spent ages on this really long waiting list, waiting for it. So, in the end, when I was given this chance, I was so pleased I had it. It was a ray of hope in my really dark, depressing moods. So then I go along to this one meeting which, may I add, they sent me a letter out of the blue telling me a date and time saying you must be here. So yeah, at their beck and call. But regardless of that, I went along. I was given 6 sessions before I was discharged from the place. However, these 6 sessions were incredibly disjointed. They were every 3 weeks. And not just that, I had to take half a day out of school every time to go to these sessions. They didn't give me an option of having it at the weekends or anything else. It was that or nothing. On top of that, my counsellor was always ill. Now, I'm not blaming her for being ill, you can't help it if you are ill. But it doesn't change the fact that she would be ill and cancel, and then my therapy would be even more disjointed than it would be if it followed the every 3 weeks system. On top of all of that, when I actually went, she kept trying to blame all of my problems on my family life. Now, I'm not saying that problems aren't based on family life, and often they can be. However, she's very quick to jump to the assumption that it was, without properly knowing my family life and my background. When I eventually told her my family life and background, she was then a bit startled. She expected me to have a troubled family life, but that's not what mental health is about. Sure, there are people with troubled family lives, and the trouble in the family life can really affect them. I'm not saying that isn't the case. But that is not the case with everyone. You can have mental health issues for any reason, even if you don't know what it is. At the end of all of it, I finished my 6 sessions, disappointed. It didn't feel like it did anything for me. I just wasted all of that time going out of school, all of the hassle and stress and missed appointments because of her illness. For not a lot. And then I was discharged. Nothing else I could do. After that, I had a pretty bad feeling about going for counselling through the NHS system. Now, I had a good counsellor in my school for a while, and she was reliable, that was good. However, when I was 18, I went to the doctor again, as I felt I really needed help. Now, what shocked me is, before I was 18, every time I went to the doctor about my mental health, they were always insistent that medication was not the answer for me at all. However, as soon as I turned 18, medication was suddenly an option. I understand that for minors, the effects of medication can be different on the body, and hence it might not be as strongly recommended. But the fact that it was such a strong on-off switch between me being 17 and 18, it seems like there's something up there for me. I was put onto yet another very long waiting list to go into counselling. Now, I was referred to one centre, which said they didn't deal with problems as severe as mine, which referred me to another centre, which, oh yes, they referred me to a third centre. In the end, before this jumping about, I ended up at my third centre, which is the place I'm at now. Now, honestly, they are absolutely lovely. It's like a mental health haven for me there. I'm so pleased I finally got put there. Not only are the people there very good and kind, it's also only a 15-minute walk away from me. I'm now in group therapy, which is really good. I'm in a really supportive group and we all help each other. We bounce ideas off each other. I really enjoy it and I find it helps me. I joined this group being told that people will come in and leave the group as and when they felt ready. However, things changed very quickly. The facilitator of the group is leaving. Now, I don't see that as a problem, and it isn't a problem. The problem lies where, with budget cuts, they could not afford to find someone to replace her. And hence the group is cancelled and is going to stop in 2 months. Which, for all of us already in a vulnerable state, was such a shock. It gave me proper panic attacks because I was told I would have this thing that I could rely on. It was a constant and it was just taken away from me. And what made matters worse was the fact that due to these cuts, they don't even have the facilities to give us even one-on-one counselling as just an interim until we find ourselves in another centre. There wasn't even that option. It was just, I'm sorry, you're not going to have 2 years as we were told before. You're out on the streets and we can't deal with you. Go back to the back of the queue. I'm not saying I know how to change this. I know it's because of the budget cuts. I know there's nothing they can do. But it doesn't change the fact at the end of the day that these are vulnerable people you're dealing with here. These are people who need this help. There are people in my group who literally, they depend on these things so much. And what's going to happen to them when you just chuck them out of the service? We don't know. You're literally playing with people's lives. I'm not blaming anyone in particular. I don't want to get angry about this. And to be honest, in some way it doesn't even affect me. I mean, it does, because it's really bothered me. But the thing is, in September I'm probably going to be moving away to university anyway. But it's more the concept of it for me. The concept that I have been messed around by the system so many times. The concept that as someone who needs mental help, I have to go to the back of the queue and wait for a long time for it. And whilst I was okay, there will be many people who weren't. There will be many people who would have been suicidal and gone to the back of this waiting list. For what? You give them a 6-week wait. In the 6 weeks, they could have already killed themselves. And who's to blame? I'll let you all think about that one. Please share your comments below. I really want to see what you all have to say about this. It's kind of a controversial topic, but I also want to see your experiences of the NHS mental health system as well. So yeah, thank you very much. Bye! On this channel I'm going to be talking about mental health, positivity and general lifestyle. I have done